on Tuesday, May the 21st, 2024. This is a meeting of the El Centro City Council. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Carter,
Present.
Councilmember Oliva,
Present.
Councilmember Cardenas Singh,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Present.
Mayor Marroquin.
Present. Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, will you please lead us in the flag salute?
Hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Councilmember Carter, will you lead us in an invocation?
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you just simply saying thank you. We come to you asking you, Lord, just to bless the kids as the time is coming around for testing, as they're coming around for vacation. Lord, bless the parents as well, Lord. We're asking you to bless the great city of El Centro from the north, the east, the south, and the west. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So this is our time for public comment. And first, I'd like to read the notice to the public that this is a public meeting. If there is an item on the agenda on which you wish to be heard, you are asked to complete a blue speaker slip and submit it to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting. Persons wishing to address the council are not required to identify themselves. However, this information assists the mayor by ensuring that all persons wishing to address the council are recognized and also assist the city clerk in preparing the city council meeting minutes. When the item is announced and your name is called by the mayor, please step to the podium and state your name for the record. Unless the mayor extends the time, there is a 3-minute time limit for each public presentation. If you wish to address the council concerning any matter not appearing on the agenda, you may do so during the public comment portion of the agenda. However, you may not show a visual presentation without review of that material. If you do so, you will be considered out of order. And at the moment, I have 3 requests for public comment. And I would like to start with the first one, and this is Veronica Zamora.
Good afternoon. I'm Veronica Zamora. May I begin?
Yes.
I'm a resident of Pepper Drive, and I'm here in good faith. I come before our city council members today asking you to act by prohibiting El Centro Regional Medical Center from providing residential parking permits to their employees as they have designated parking locations on campus, at the Baptist Church, and Buckland Park. Since 2020, I've been battling against El Centro Regional Medical Center employees with residential parking permits and their feelings of entitlement. I'm aware El Centro Regional Medical Center is conducting business in residential homes. However, non-resident employees have permits, and I witnessed them arriving and leaving daily. The pictures I provided you with were taken today during my lunch break, identifying a hospital visitor parked in front of my house, employees parking next door with permits, and me having to park on my lawn because of the limited parking space. Hence, parking on my lawn is a violation for which I have received warning letters. However, it's my only available resource as I cannot park in the hospital parking lot because it's private parking for security. I have lived at my home since 2010. It wasn't until El Centro Regional owned the house at 1455 Pepper Drive that I began to have limited parking access, but most importantly, harassed by their staff over parking. On August 26, I submitted a complaint to their former CEO, Adolph Edward. He then contacted me and under my complaint because their nursing director, Judy Cruz, was an exceptional employee. Yet their maintenance staff was a witness to her erratic behavior. When I contact El Centro Police, their dispatch is clear that officers respond to priority calls. Therefore, an enforcement officer will arrive when available. Officers show up about 20% of the time. Many residents have expressed their concerns back since 2020. It's now a safety concern when confrontations arise, such as asking visitors to park at the hospital because they become defensive. And El Centro Regional Medical Center employees using their titles as intimidation tactics to utilize resident parking as their own. So, come to you for help.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Zamora. Next, I would like to call Mr. Scott DeVoy.
My name's Scott DeVoy. My mother, Sally, lives at 1296 Pepper Drive. She's 94 years old, has trouble walking, stability issues, doesn't drive. My brother, my family, he's got 7 kids. So there's always 1 or 2 of us at the house with my mom. It's very difficult sometimes to find parking in front of my mom's house. When she has an issue and we have to take her somewhere, she can't just walk down the block, find a place to get in the car and to take off. We need parking spaces in front of our houses. Many occasions, we can't find parking space in front of our house. That's kind of my issue. We're really concerned about my mom. And when we see people park in front of the house, it's really hard for us to just kind of jump in the middle of somebody that's getting out of their car to go to work and cause a problem with them. It would be much easier for the hospital to tell their employees, hey, this is not allowed. And these employees, like they said, some of them actually have stickers, but we're parking in front of our house and walking to the hospital. So where'd they get the stickers for parking? Because we're only allowed, I think my mom gets 7 because she requests 7 because she's got 7 kids. So this is one of the issues. We need this to stop. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Mr. DeBoy. Okay, and next we have Mr. Roger Samra.
Hello, my name is Roger Samra. I live at 1435 Pepper Drive. And I brought a petition in from the neighborhood to asking that the council enforce the resolution on our street on Pepper Drive, the same Pepper Drive between Imperial Avenue and Cypress Drive. And on the resolution, it states that it's for residents and their guests. And as they say, people are parking. The whole idea was to keep the hospital employees from parking in front of our house so we could park in front of our houses. But now with this new, all these new permits that have been issued to all the streets around the hospital, all these other people in the neighborhoods have the same permit. It looks the same. It doesn't designate which residents that permit belongs to or is associated with. And so anybody can park in front of our house with a permit. We can call the police and they won't issue a ticket because they say it has a permit. And in the past, each house had a specific number and that you knew that one permit belonged to that one house. So if there's any way they can have the permits issued in such a way that they can determine what house that permit is issued to, so the police can actually give a ticket to people parking in front of our house that don't belong there, it would solve this problem, I think. And so that's what we're asking for. And then the petition, every house that opened the door that was home, they all signed it on our street. Just the only people that didn't sign they just weren't home. So everybody's kind of frustrated with this situation. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Samra. Okay. So now we will continue the meeting with presentations. And first, I would like to call up Mr. Abraham Campos for presentation on the Public Works Department Public Works Week.
All right. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Just before we close the loop on the other one, after this, I might want to exchange information so we can discuss the issue further. I know this is of vital importance to you. I do want to see what we can do to clarify the problem. So I'm Abraham Campos. I'm the Public Works Director here for the City of El Centro. And it's a very special week for us in the public works industry and the public works professional. This week is a week that's set aside to recognize the public work professionals and their proud work that they do to improve and enhance our community. This year's theme for Public Works Week is advancing quality of life for all. And that's what we really strive for to do here in the city of Centro, and our staff is very committed. Many of our staff members are here today, and I couldn't be prouder of the work that they do, from their supervisors to our secretarial assistants, to our support staff, to our engineers. The work that they do touches everything, from the sidewalks we walk, to the roads we travel, the water that comes from our faucets. Public Works is really everywhere in those buildings that we're here touching and maintaining. So to get a better idea of what Public Works is, we solicited the help of our very own Emilio here, who has created a very nice video to go over what Public Works is. So if I can entertain you with a short video of Public Works, I'd like to request that the video be played.
Welcome to the heart of the city's infrastructure, the Public Works Department. The Public Works Department is divided into 10 divisions: administration, engineering, facility maintenance, streets maintenance, water system maintenance, wastewater system maintenance, environmental compliance, water treatment plants, wastewater treatment plants, and motor vehicle. Each division is interconnected to help other departments with different aspects of new construction in the city. Our administrative staff helps with budgets, issues permits, assists with public requests, contract and project management, invoicing, among other duties. Support staff receives calls from customers and coordinates services with the city. Their work in coordinating contracts, work orders, services from contractors is not always seen by the public, but without them, we couldn't communicate among our divisions and with other departments or the public. We learned this routine since childhood, but have you wondered, what happens? Where does this water come from? Where does it go? When a person washes their hands in the city of El Centro, the water comes from here.
Well, that river looks familiar, but it really comes from here. The El Centro Water Treatment Plant's mission each day is to provide safe and reliable drinking water to over 45,000 customers. To ensure that the quality of your tap water meets state and quality standards, we continually test water sources at the treatment plant and various points in the distribution system weekly. We take great pride in our work and are proud to serve the great citizens of El Centro. The city's utility field representatives are responsible for the monthly reading of over 10,000 water meter accounts, installing new residential and commercial water meters, and performing preventive maintenance on our automated meter system. They also respond daily to requests for repair of meter leaks, low pressure complaints, and for emergency shutoffs for repairs by property owners. The city's utility field representatives are always happy to assist customers whenever or wherever possible. Currently, the water plant provides an average demand of about 5 million gallons of water to its customers daily. That's an average water consumption of about 200 million gallons of treated and processed water monthly. This water is provided by the Colorado River through canals and purchased water from our local Imperial Irrigation District. I'm sure you've seen the big white storage tanks at the water plant. The plant has 4 water storage tanks and the water capacity to store up to 15 million gallons of water. Water storage is based on demand, due to demand being higher at certain times of the year. Well, speaking of water tanks, I'd like to remind you to keep your eyes peeled for the night light changes taking place at the La Boucherie Pump Station, storage tank located at La Boucherie Avenue and Main Street. The lights are set to coordinate with many holidays throughout the year. You can find the water tank light schedule on the city's website.
However, a different type of process starts when water needs to go to your house. Distribution crews work with the meter readers to help distribute the water to all houses, businesses, schools, etc. in the city. They also help firefighters when they need water. Have you ever seen this? Well, that's part of the distribution system. About 207 miles of pipeline ranging in size from 3/4 to 30-inch in diameter across the city to distribute water.
And what happens when nothing is there yet? For example, a bare lot in need of water and sewer connections. Our friends at the Engineering Division can help. They are dedicated professionals that handle budgets, permits, and project management. They help with the expansion of our city, like this one, or like this one, and even this one.
Street maintenance is the backbone of urban mobility. Our skilled crews patch roads, repaint lines, and clear debris, keeping our streets safe and accessible for all. As the city of El Centro is the largest city in the Imperial County and is rapidly growing, the challenge of maintaining the city's streets and structures is growing right along with it. The street division maintains traffic lights, pedestrian beacons, speed radars, sidewalks, roads, streets, street signs around the city. Our division also assists other departments with traffic control and alley cleanup.
Protecting our environment starts here. Our team operates and maintains facilities, ensuring that wastewater is safely processed before returning to nature. As new environmentally friendly regulations are being approved by the state, our Environmental Compliance Division helps to translate those regulations to the public by educating our younger generations. Educating the public to understand our collections and distribution systems, as well as our storm drain system, is essential to take care of our resources. All water that goes into the storm drain system is not processed in any way, so it's a misconception that the water that goes into the storm drain flows to the wastewater treatment plant. It doesn't so. Only rainwater should go in the storm drain. That way we protect our environment. Recycling also helps. Do you know what's another way to help the environment? Protecting water. And that's part of our job.
You are right. Part of our job at the El Centro Wastewater Treatment Plant is protecting our citizens and surrounding environments by treating all wastewater produced by the city, which includes residential and commercial waste. The city of El Centro approximately generates 3.5 million gallons of wastewater per day, which is collected through a series of sewer lines and several pump stations before reaching its ultimate destination, the wastewater treatment plant. It's here where the treatment begins, by first removing rags and heavy solids in the primary area, and what remains we send off to our secondary treatment for process. Bacteria, which we call bugs, is cultured and reproduced and are used to feed on incoming sewer. These bugs break down the sewage, which contain ammonia, phosphorus, and other pollutants that can be impactful to the environment if not removed. These pollutants are greatly reduced, which is then sent off to an ultraviolet disinfection system to deactivate any remaining bugs or bacteria before we discharge to our downstream waters. We have a pretty comprehensive monitoring program, which involves several lab analyses and a SCADA surveillance system to help staff run and maintain the plant. We strive to stay in compliance with state regulators, and meanwhile, we keep the community safe by eliminating the spread of harmful diseases. That's our wastewater treatment plant.
Motor vehicles is another division of Public Works. Here, our mechanics work hard to keep and maintain all our city vehicle fleet.
And finally, last but not least, all our departments get help from our Facility Maintenance Division. They are in charge of all buildings and facility maintenance around the city, including but not limited to air conditioning, buildings, facade, remodels, security to events, groundbreaking, demolition, and graffiti. Although not seen by the public, our guys at the Facility Maintenance and Mechanic Shop help to keep the city property in optimal condition.
As you can see, all Public Works is connected to bring services to a city. Although not always seen by the public, we at the Public Works Department, from streets to water, from environmental compliance to engineering, we're dedicated to building a better, healthier, and more sustainable future for all. We are El Centro. And this is your Public Works.
All right, so fantastic work here by by our in-house video team and by the staff. I really want to thank Hero CEO for helping put this together, our staff assistant, and obviously all the members that were involved in this video. This really showcases what Public Works is here in El Centro. All this footage is from El Centro. It's not a big city somewhere else. This is our own water plants, our own wastewater plants, our own facility maintenance, our engineering, our staff. And in Public Works, we're trying to inspire a new generation of Public Works professionals, because it's not just the guys that you see in the street with a vest. They do a fantastic job. But from administration, the funding that it takes to manage all of this, the administration of grants, of funding, of enterprise funds, general fund, water, sewer rates, billing, to getting that delivered by our staff, it's a huge team. And I'm extremely proud of the team that we have. We have great supervisors, great staff that are extremely committed to the welfare of this community. For that, I really want to thank them for their work. So thank you. For that, back to you.
Well, in recognition and celebration of National Public Works Week, I would like to present a proclamation on behalf of the City of El Centro, and I'd like to read it. Whereas National Public Works Week recognizes the planning, building, and management of local communities that keep our cities running smoothly day in and day out. Public Works professionals provide essential services that lead to healthier, happier, more vibrant communities and the well-being of the people of the City of El Centro. And whereas this year's theme, Advancing Quality of Life for All, shines a spotlight on the way Public Works professionals advance our quality of life on a myriad of ways that they silently serve their communities. And whereas they provide infrastructure of services in water, wastewater, public buildings and spaces, right-of-way management, and road maintenance and improvements, and much more. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works programs in the City of El Centro. And whereas the mayor and council members urge all citizens to observe the week by recognizing the substantial contributions which public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees that make every day to protect our healthy, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Now, therefore, I, Sylvia Marroquin, Mayor of the City of El Centro, State of California, do hereby proclaim May the 19th through the 25th, 2024 as National Public Works Week in the City of El Centro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Yes, please, yes.
Emilio.
All right.
Wait, how about Joselito?
Almost there, huh?
Joselito, don't let's not forget.
Just 5.
Takes a movie. All right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody, Mike, thank you. Hey.
Hi, good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. The item that I have before you is the public hearing to approve the engineer's report regarding the Buena Vista Landscaping and Lighting District and authorizing the levy and collection of assessments in fiscal year 2023. Just to give you a review of what services are provided by the district, they do annual palm tree pruning and trimming. There's 111 palm trees at that district. Right-of-way landscaping, retention basin maintenance, irrigation maintenance, and in fiscal year 2025, there will be two ongoing projects, which is the construction of the Buena Vista Park, which is set to have the groundbreaking in December. And then also there is a wall that's collapsing that's gonna be replaced. So for this district, the maximum levy is 209.33 cents. The proposed levy is 144.20 cents. There are 465 parcels at that district, and the expected revenue is 67,053. That is a 25% increase from last fiscal year. Last fiscal year, the levy was 115.36 per parcel annually, and in 2025, it'll be 144.20 per parcel per year. And then just looking at the historical data, in fiscal year 2022, we had a beginning fund balance of 133,910. And that fiscal year, we had a small deficit of 2,684. The following fiscal year in 2023, we had a deficit of 11,594. And then in fiscal year 2024, we are projected to have a deficit of 24,858 with an ending fund balance of 94,774. So in fiscal year 2025, we are expected to get revenues of 68,153 and then expenditures of 155,900. So the reason why this fiscal year the expenses are so high or higher than normal is because there is that wall replacement that I spoke about is 500 feet, and the cost for the item by itself is 60,500. So it's like a major item. And then also I did take into account for half of the fiscal year an increase in services, the cost of services for like lighting and water due to the park opening. So then the ending fund balance at the beginning of fiscal year 2025 would be 7,727. So then letters did go out to other residents of the district. It was also published in the Inter Valley Press and it is my recommendation that we open up the public hearing to approve the Buena Vista Landscape and Lighting District for fiscal year 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Chaparro. So I will now open the public hearings. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Either present in chambers or remotely? No speakers? Okay, so I will now close this public hearing and I will bring it back to the City Council. And colleagues, any questions or comments? I see, oh. Alrighty. So now we will then vote on this to adopt this resolution. Alrighty. And so that resolution number 24-40, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro approving the engineer's report regarding Buena Vista Landscaping and Lighting District and authorizing the levy and collection of assessments related thereto commencing in fiscal year 2024-2025. And that passes 5-0. Now we move on to item number 11.
Yes, the next
Yes.
item is to open up the public hearing to approve the engineer's report regarding Legacy Ranch Landscaping and Lighting District and authorizing the levy and collection
of assessments for fiscal year 2025. The services provided at this district are park maintenance. There are 2 parks at that location, lighting maintenance, sprinkler maintenance, right-of-way maintenance and landscaping, tree trimming, and green space maintenance. The maximum levy is $620.73. The proposed levy is $473.63. There are 143 parcels at that district, and the expected revenue is $67,729. If you might recall, last fiscal year, when I presented, there was direction to assess 35% the first fiscal year and then 35% the second fiscal year. So we already, fiscal year 2024 was the first one. This is the second fiscal year that we will be doing the additional 35%. So that's reflected here at the 473.63. And then looking at the historical data, the beginning fund balance in fiscal year 2022 was 30,491. There was a deficit of 13,148, and in fiscal year 2023, a small deficit of 3,092, and then in 24, we're projected to see a deficit of 10,671, with an ending fund balance of 3,580. That fund balance is kind of low, so then in fiscal year 2025, we are hoping to, the expected revenue is 67,879, and so we have a small surplus of 8,479, and we're expecting to start replenishing the fund balance since it has fallen so low. And with that, also letters went out to the residents of this district, and it was also published on the Imperial Valley Press on May 11th. And with that, I would like to recommend that you open up the public hearing to approve the Legacy Ranch Landscape and Lighting District Engineers Report.
So I will now open the public hearings. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item, either present or remotely? No speakers? Okay. So the public hearing is now closed. And council colleagues, any questions or comments from Mrs. Chaparro?
Madam Mayor, if I can, I know that when this was before us last year, I appreciate that we went ahead and decided that we would do increments and not the entire 100% of the increase. And I just thank you for reassuring us that that information, again, has been shared with our residents. Should anyone reach out to us and see the increase, that we were very strategic about ensuring that it was gradual, but there is going to be an increase here for the next couple of years to come. So thank you for that, Carla.
Thank you.
Just as a reminder to the public.
Yes.
I also had a comment. I did want to echo my colleague's sentiment here that I remember at the time she and I felt hesitant about doing such a drastic increase for the residents that live there. And so we see the increment, but please remind us that this increment is an increase of 3.8%, correct?
From one fiscal year to another, it's 35%.
Okay, what I'm looking at is
This one here?
2024 to 2025, the consumer price index is 3.8, right?
Oh, yes, the max that we can assess or levy, it increases by CPI. So then this fiscal year, the CPI was 3.80, so the max increases by.
Okay.
That's
And
what it
it's
is.
part of the increment that we had. So again, people know about it and it wasn't as drastic, but this is, as that slide that you have up there shows, is that it's because between 2013 and 2019, the amounts were lowered to the point where, because there was a surplus and then it was eating away at that surplus. And so now that rebate or that reduction that those residents received no longer sustains the account. And that's why you're starting to see an increase. And so I just wanted to be very clear with the residents. That is the reason for that fluctuation. Thank you.
Yes.
Good point.
Any questions or comments? Okay. So I see that we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Edgar Garcia and a second by Councilmember Oliva. Please vote. And so adoption of resolution number 2441 resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro approving the engineer's report regarding Legacy Ranch Landscaping and Lighting District and authorizing the levy and collection of assessments related thereto commencing in fiscal year 2024-2025, and that resolution passes 5-0. So now we move on to item number 12. This is a public hearing for the purpose of approving the engineer's report regarding the El Centro Town Center Landscaping and Lighting District and authorizing the levy and collection of assessments related thereto commencing in fiscal year 2024-2025. And a presentation by Mrs. Carla Chaparro, our Finance Director.
Yes. So, this is to open up the public hearing to approve the engineer's report for that Town Center Landscape and Lighting District. The services provided here are right-of-way maintenance and landscaping, irrigation maintenance, retention basin cleanup, and cleanup of surrounding areas. The maximum levy that we can access here is $435.12. The proposed levy is $415.48. So if you notice at the bottom, it says 0% increase. So I'm leaving the rates the same as last fiscal year. There's no need for an increase at this moment. And then looking at the historical data in fiscal year 2022, our beginning fund balance was $29,389. Then in fiscal year 2022, we had a deficit of $8,608, but then in 2023, we had a surplus of $4,347, and in 2024, we're expected to see $6,101. So then in fiscal year 2025, by the end of fiscal year 2025, we're having an ending fund balance of $34,306. So it's a healthy reserve. I didn't find I need to increase the levy this fiscal year. And with that, same thing, letters were sent out to the business owners, and they were notified of the public hearing. And my recommendation is that we open up the public hearing to approve that Town Center Landscape and Lighting District.
And so I will now open the public hearings. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item, either present or remotely? No? Okay. So this public hearing is now closed. Colleagues, any questions or comments for Mrs. Chaparro? All righty, so that motion was moved by Councilmember Oliva, seconded by Councilmember Carter. Please vote. Okay, so adoption of resolution number 24-42, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro approving the engineer's report regarding the El Centro Town Center Landscaping and Lighting District and authorizing the levy and collection of assessments related thereto commencing in fiscal year 2024-2025. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Chaparro.
Thank you.
And we now move on to item number 13, to adopt a resolution to rescind resolution number 22-20 and approving the change of specific language. We have a presentation by our Community Services Director, Mrs. Adriana Nava.
Hello, Honorable Mayor.
Hello.
This is a really minor item. I actually don't have a presentation, but on March 8th, we received correspondence from HCD, which is our grantor, and they wanted a substitution in our resolution. Right now, we have it written so that it is the city manager and myself instead of or. And so they just want us to change from, it's kind of silly, but legally it does matter, change the word with and to or. And so that's just what the resolution says. It's a very minor change, but they've asked for it. They're granting us $400,000. And so we're happy to comply.
We're happy to change that one little word.
Yeah.
But usually it goes the other way around. So that's kind of unusual. Okay, so colleagues. Alrighty, so wow, that was quick. Alrighty, so adoption of resolution number 24-43, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro rescinding resolution number 22-20 and approving the change of specific language regarding the person authorized to execute the required documents pertaining to application for funding submitted to the California State Department of Housing and Community Development. And that resolution passes 5-0. And now we will move on to item number 14, discussion and any necessary action for the approval of amendment number 1 to the agreement and recurring services with Catholic Charities for the Working Hands Workforce Development Program. And again, a presentation by our Community Services Director, Mrs. Adriana Nava.
So again, on February 20th, City Council approved an agreement with Catholic Charities. As we worked through the agreement and meeting with them, they asked us for some additional clarifications that they wanted written into our agreement. And so for the sake of the grant and for the sake of clarity and the record, we did go ahead and make those changes. So you will see amendment number 1. Briefly, it covers the term. So we had originally had it as a 2-year agreement, but the budget they had provided us was for 1 year. So we went back and changed it to a 1-year agreement since that's the budget we received. And then annually, they will come back to council. And I feel that this is great because it will allow council to see annually the progress being made on the program, and it will keep everyone just abreast of what's going on. The other item, again, compensation related to the same thing, the term, and then disposal of solid waste. We did request from our Public Works Director. There is a site on 2nd Street where a lot of items, trash, there's huge dumpsters there. They go dump stuff there, and then the trash company goes and picks up stuff there. They wanted us to include that as part of the language because disposal fees are very high, and those weren't included in their original budget. So they wanted that sense of assurity. And then I think the other item was just a request from the state regarding purchasing technology. So any technology that is purchased, like a cell phone or laptop, has to come back to the city after the program ends. So that was the last request.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. And so in reading my agenda packet, I noticed that the vehicles that we will be using that are being donated by the city, are they still being serviced?
Yes, they are currently being worked at, I believe. I'm not sure it's a dealership. It's another, the
mechanic?
shop sends them to different vendors that we have. And so they're currently with them. It's 2 vehicles. We are checking in. We haven't received any word yet, so I can assure you that they're working hard on that.
Okay. Colleagues, any questions or comments from Mrs. Nava? Alrighty. So we will then approve amendment number 1 to the agreement for recurring services with Catholic Charities for the Working Hands Workforce Development Program, and that passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Nava. So next we go on to item number 15, letter of opposition, request received from the Small Business Development Center in opposition to proposed state budget cuts to Small Business Technical Assistance Program, TAP, and Capital Infusion Program, SIP, at GoBiz. And we have a presentation by our city manager, Mr. Cedric Cesenia.
Madam Mayor, good evening, council members, good evening as well. So before you is a letter of opposition that was requested by the Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center. It was a short turnaround and a short notice to get this written, signed and submitted on behalf or in support of the opposition to the budget cut proposed by the governor, which is a 50% budget cut. And it appears to be a risk of about $35 million in federal funding that would be basically pulled away from the services that are provided by the Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center centers across the state. So in some of those services that are covered, there are trainings that are provided to small businesses or starting businesses in accounting, marketing, human resources, technology, security, manufacturing, and those types of services. Business owners are usually able to explore additional topics and request expert training on a one-on-one basis through the center's experienced advisors and trainers. Due to the short notice, the city manager's office prepared the letter, signed it, and submitted it. It is before you for ratification as a body for the letter that was submitted on deadline of May 17th of this year. So last Friday was submitted.
And so the ratification of that support letter passes 5-0. Wow. And we just have a few informational items on the agenda, and we will now move on to task force reports. And maybe what I'll do is I'll start with Councilmember Sonia Carter. We'll go this way.
All right. Good evening, good evening. We attended Dancing with the Stars, the gala. It was very nice. Every year, I think it's getting better and better. Very, very nice. It was just a lot of competition, a lot of people. You got to see a lot of people you haven't seen in a while. And I attended the Southwest High School, the Health Science Center. They're bringing a new dental place there. They're bringing oh wow, it was awesome. The facility that they have that and it's opening to the children where they're going to learn how to be dental assistants and they'll learn how to take blood and they'll learn how to do different things. Very nice, very, very nice. And then yesterday we had a film commission meeting, and we are in October, they're going to be having some guests here. So we don't know who yet, but it's soon to come. And that concludes my report.
Oh, so you're gonna leave us in suspense?
Yeah, they left us in this until yesterday. They left us in suspense. So, but she said we couldn't say nothing. So soon.
All righty. Okay, now I'm gonna jump over to
All right, great.
Councilmember Cardenas Singh.
A number of things have taken place. One that I'm very proud of, yesterday with Madam Mayor and myself, we got to meet with an individual that works for Imperial Valley College who is a strong advocate for making sure that we take a look at inclusion of individuals who have a hearing impairment. And it was wonderful because he talked about how many times someone who has a hearing impairment many times may not participate or feel included in a community as a whole. So it was great. We took a look at access points. We also took a look at ensuring when we have an event or a public hearing that should anyone who is hard of hearing or has any type of impairment, that we provide those types of services so that we provide inclusion. That was the beginning of one of many meetings to ensure that we are having everyone represented in all of our activities. So I appreciate Fabian's advocacy for sharing the importance of inclusion. A Monday with the mayor yesterday was great, and I'll go ahead and defer that to Madam Mayor to discuss that. Wonderful job by our El Centro City staff. The Enchanted Alice in Wonderland Tea Party was excellent. It was a great event. Really happy to see so many of our community residents take part in such a beautiful event. Also had the opportunity to attend the Asian American Pacific Heritage Month that also took place at our community center here in El Centro, put on by the Ivy Social Justice Group. Excellent opportunity, and had the opportunity to celebrate the culture, not only music, but food, and also the history and the storytelling. Attended the Imperial Valley Desert Museum fundraiser, the Los Vigilantes fundraiser, and Dancing with the Stars. And that's the end of my report. Oh, I'm sorry. And Madam Mayor and I attended the JPIA Elected Officials Academy, and it was just a great opportunity to develop our skill set and also to take a look at our roles and responsibilities and making sure that we're a voice for our constituents. Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's the end of my report.
Councilmember Oliva.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Colleagues, I will keep my report brief as I have had less meetings than many of you. But the one that I think that deserves mentioning is, since we last met, I know last meeting we had our joint El Centro Regional Medical Center meeting, but I didn't get an opportunity to report on that last time. So just to remind you all and also inform the public that at the last joint meeting that El Centro Regional Medical Center had with the city of El Centro, it was to form a stronger joint powers agreement between UCSD Health and ECRMC. And the reason for that is because UCSD Health, being an arm of the University of California, is a major institution within the state of California. And during COVID, we had access to medications, we had access to oxygen tanks, to ventilators, that we to beds for our residents in San Diego that we otherwise would not have had available. We perhaps would have lost far more people, but being part of that network assisted us. And I just wanted to be very clear that as much as I came in respectfully to UCSD Health, very skeptical about UCSD being partnered with ECRMC when I first started on that board. And there's still a level of, I haven't forgotten certain things, but certainly not forgetting doesn't mean we cannot and should not move on. And moving on means recognizing their efforts, their resources in helping us get AB 918 passed, their lobbying efforts, their efforts lobbying Dr. Gailey, the Secretary of Health, in seeing whether or not the loan that we received becomes a grant, and that we as residents may in the future not have to pay that back. It also continues to allow us to access certain resources and move forward to access a higher level of reimbursement rates for Medi-Cal. And so looking at all of those benefits, knowing very well that now this full body is right there with them, working with them, keeping an eye out, I know that I felt very comfortable in us moving forward because all of those things that were just mentioned are a benefit to you all. So that was the major reason why the ECRMC board, the city of El Centro, along with UCSD Health, decided to kind of solidify a JPA that's a little bit stronger to allow us to access more formally resources that we didn't have available to us before. So that being the major thing that I attended to since we last met, but also wanted to give just one last shout out to Abraham and his team in Public Works. Today they held a Public Works Expo at the library and had several handfuls of children, students coming in, wearing the top hats and learning exactly what the wastewater treatment facility does, what their engineers do, what the street cleaning and street maintenance folks do as well. And it was great to see your entire team come together and educate the students so that they're aware. And just recognizing that many of us forget that when we turn on the water, we don't fully appreciate at times where that comes from, what it had to go through, what your team does in order for us to appreciate, to be able to water our lawn, wash our hands, cook our food, and all that stuff. And so your video did a fantastic job at reminding all of us, myself, I'll speak for myself, reminding me everything that you and your team do for every single resident, every single day. And so thank you again. You did an amazing job today, and continue to keep up the good work to you and your team. Madam Mayor, that's it. I yield back.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Just briefly, again, I'd like to extend congratulations to Public Works. That video was great. I think it did a great job of highlighting everything that you guys really do in the city. You are the glue that keeps everything going. And it's well-deserved recognition to see the different aspects of the department and what really makes this city turn so that residents can enjoy their day-to-day lives. So just congratulations again, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Wow, let's see. So, some of the events that I attended have also previously been mentioned, but I was asked and invited to speak at the Asian American Island Pacific or Heritage Month ceremony at the community center this past Saturday. I was like, I got to see a couple of the performances that they had there, and it's good to see how this, their culture has really enriched our community. So that it was very eye-opening event. So let's see. Last night we had a Monday with the mayor, and again, we were in downtown Main Street, so I had a good-sized little crowd. And so we discussed the opening of the Imperial Avenue extension to the south. And so we'll share all the comments with Mr. Campos at a later time. But there were some concerns, but we hope that we've reassured the residents in that area that their concerns were calmed, by our assurance. Okay. And so I was also in attendance with the JPIA, is the Joint Powers Insurance Authority, is the insurance company that insures the city of El Centro. And so they hosted an elected officials summit last week. So we, Councilmember Cardona Singh and I were in attendance. It was a small group. I think we were maybe about 40 persons. We were able to meet council members and mayors from other areas of Southern California, and and share with them, and they also shared with us. And it's nice to know that we all face the same types of issues and dilemmas as we serve our communities. So very informative and educational. And I have to say that I'd really like to attend again, maybe next year when they have more topics, for us to cover. And so on that, I would also like to invite you tomorrow to our South Imperial Avenue Extension Project ribbon cutting ceremony. It is scheduled at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, which is May the 22nd. It will be at the intersection of Imperial Avenue and Wake Avenue. This new roadway will open up the city to more residential and commercial development. To access the event, enter Wake Avenue through 8th Street. So look, please visit our Facebook page for more information on the event, and we also have an aerial view of where the parking will be located for you. So just so that you have more of a visual. And just a reminder that City Hall will be closed next Monday in observance of Memorial Day. And I also would like to invite you to our next Monday with the mayor, which will be set at 5:30 p.m. on June the 10th. We are still working on determining a site, but please follow our social media platforms for more information on that. And on that, I'll turn it over to our city manager, Mr. Cedric Cesenia.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended some of the very same events that you guys all have shared already, so I won't waste time on that. But since our last meeting, the police department as well as the city family grew by one, so we have a +1. We added a new dispatcher at the police department.
I thought somebody had a baby.
No. We added a police dispatcher there. Aside from that, I guess I didn't clarify that. So Mario and I attended the state Surgeon General, Dr. Diana Ramos, came and visited Southwest High School. So we had the pleasure to be there as well for the presentation that she gave to the students as well as faculty and members of the community. With that in mind, our neighbors to the north have been shaking a little bit, so it's always a good reminder that we need to be ready for any type of disaster as they come along. But I do want to share that now when the ground shakes, the department heads are texting me. I'm in Calexico and the ground wasn't shaking, so I was like, why are they texting me at 3 a.m? But it's good to know, right, that people are paying attention. And more than anything, encourage the public to make sure that they're ready in the event of a disaster. Thank you.
Does that conclude your report, Mr. Cesenia?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yes, okay. So at this time, we were scheduled to go into closed session. However, closed session will be adjourned to Thursday, May the 23rd, 2024 at 4 p.m. in the RDA conference room, which is right next door. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn closed session to Thursday, May the 23rd at 4 p.m. in the RDA conference room?
So move.
Alrighty, so that was Okay, and a voice vote?
Councilmember Carter?
Okay, that passes.
We can do it as a voice vote.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Alrighty. And I guess that doesn't conclude our meeting, right? We just adjourned for,
Yes, correct.
yes. Oh, Betsy's only.
You do a really good job. Your meeting is adjourned, so it will be continued, and then at the end of the closed session on Thursday, we will be reporting out from your closed session.
Okay, alrighty. Ms. City
Thank you.
Attorney, thank you so much. And I just want to wish everybody a good evening. Wow.
Great.
An hour
job.
and 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm on a roll. Okay.
Sure.